So at the time of recording this, it seems that Manchester United have had a bid of around £55 million accepted for Lille's French defender, Leny Yoro. Now this will be of a concern to many Liverpool fans, especially those on Twitter, as the Reds have been heavily linked with the centre-back ever since the transfer window opened, with Liverpool, as reported by The Athletic, pulling out of the race as it seems Yoro has his heart set on a move to Real Madrid. Now, Liverpool don't want a repeat of last year's embarrassing Moises Caicedo situation when they had a monster bid accepted by Brighton, which was to be in vain, with Caicedo already heading to Chelsea in his head. But while the capture of Yoro, regarded as one of the most promising centre-backs in Europe, would have been nice, Liverpool have options in that position. Man United, on the other hand, need several signings to bolster their backline, with them retaining interest in Jarell Quansah and Matthijs de Ligt. Making the assumption that Virgil van Dijk will remain as Reds captain, Liverpool still have Ibrahima Konate, Joe Gomez, and another one of Europe's top young centre-halves in Jarell Quansah. Quansah seems to have somehow gone under the radar after a stellar debut Premier League season, in which you can count the amount of bad performances on one finger. So let's have a look how Quansah stacks up against Yoro and why we shouldn't be too worried if United managed to pull off this signing. Focusing on league games, Yoro played in more, with Quansah managing 17 games with 13 starts compared to Yoro's 32 games with 30 starts. That's pretty incredible for a player so young, really. Now, when I'm looking at stats per 90 minutes, Quansah comes out best in terms of both progressive carries and progressive passes, indicating that confidence is not an issue for the young lad from Warrington. He's good on the ball, and towards the close of last season, he started adding them Joel Matip-style runs to his arsenal. Now, they both scored 2 goals, but Quansah's XG was slightly lower, so you can say that's marginally more impressive, I guess. When it comes to passing, Yoro's completion percentage is higher, but Quansah attempts more per 90, as you might expect, playing for a team that has more possession. Yoro's better completion rate of long passes nudges his possession higher here, with short and medium passes being quite close between the two. As I've just said, Quansah leads the way with progressive carries, with his 470 yards per 90 dwarfing Yoro's 328. Again, now some of this can be put down to Quansah playing for a bigger team with more of a possession-based attack and profile. However, Quansah also comes out on top with some of the more industrial sides of the game, with him attempting more tackles and also winning more of them in the defensive third, middle and attacking third of the pitch. He also impresses with a better penalty rate of interceptions, dribblers tackled and shots and passes blocked. Now this is a bit surprising. As I've just said, Quansah is playing for the better side and is less likely to have to make tackles, as most teams that face Liverpool play in a low block. Yoro does get more touches in his own penalty area though, which scans, but Quansah gets more touches altogether. Quansah is also more dominant in the air, winning 67% of his duels compared to Yoro's 64%. The Liverpool man also competes in more aerial duels per 90. Now they're both around 6'2", both right-footed, so they're not that left-footed centre-back unicorn that everyone craves, but neither have picked up a full senior international cap yet. Now Quansah is 21, with Yoro being 18, and you can look at that in 2 different ways. Now maybe Yoro is more impressive breaking through to Lille's first team at a younger age. Or maybe that's because League One is not as competitive as the Premier League and Lille are not as strong as Liverpool. It also remains to be seen if Yoro could handle the physicality of life in the Premier League. Quansah had a short but successful time on loan with Bristol Rovers, and life in England's League One seems to have set him up with a crash course in handling himself, as at no point last season did it look like he was getting bullied. So I'm in no way disappointed that Liverpool look to have pulled out of this transfer race. Yoro is undoubtedly a talented player with a big future, but he's not the right player to spend big money on if the Reds are looking to improve their squad. Does he get into the team ahead of Konate, a full French international? No, not if Konate stays fit, which, is a big if. But I also don't see how he gets in the side ahead of Jarell Quansah, a player who kept Konate out of the side at the end of last season. If Quansah can keep up this level of consistency whenever he's called up, he stands a good chance of developing into one of the best centre-backs in the league. Now, this doesn't mean that Liverpool might not strengthen a centre-back. It's just that if they do, they need to focus on a player that will have an immediate impact on the team, which is why they're probably still strongly linked with Mark Goey from Crystal Palace. Although England at the disappointing Euro 2024 tournament, it did nothing but enhance the reputation of Goey. It didn't look out of place on the big stage while also getting himself in Opta's team of the tournament. The Reds are also believed to have opened negotiations with him, but it is mad transfer rumour season, so who knows if that's true. I guess we'll find out soon enough. But it is unlikely that a club at the top end of the Premier League won't test the resolve of Crystal Palace, though, and a bid of around £65 million should be enough to do that. However, what this would mean for the future of Joe Gomez is the subject for another day. Up the Reds.